afternoon and evening, ladies, gentlemen, and fellow folk. How are you doing? I'm Kenzie Morrison, and welcome to my TED Talk. Christopher Columbus. He discovered America. He's our hero. I mean, he's got to be great if he has his own holiday, right? We've been taught about him through childhood, about his victories, but I'm afraid that this man has been placed on a faulty pedestal. Christopher Columbus took many natives as prisoners and forced them to do trade and labor on his behalf, and caused many deaths and rapes of these native people. But why have we not been taught any of this? Because our public education has been filled with egocentric white supremacy that has silenced millions of humans' voices and stories, and glorified misinformation. Let's start with the rhyme that we were taught in grade school. In 1492, Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So far, so good. But that's about as far as the truth goes. We have been taught that Christopher Columbus discovered America. But did he really discover it? If you found a $5 bill lying on the floor, when you were trying to find your wallet, did you really discover that $5 bill? Or did you just happen to run into it? Similarly, we have been taught that Christopher Columbus discovered a new location for mankind. For example, at the state capital, Indianapolis, a monumental bust for Columbus states, Christopher Columbus, born in Genoa, Italy, 1451, discovered America, October 12, 1492. This land of opportunity and freedom was thus preserved for humanity by the perennial genius abiding in the Italian race. Preserved for humanity? According to the book Lies Across America, James Lowen, William McNeill estimated that when Columbus arrived in America in 1492, about 100 million people already lived there. Were they not humankind? Not to Columbus, they weren't. Therefore, Columbus discovered Americas in about the same way that someone accidentally stumbled across a $5 bill and claimed it as their own. According to A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn, when Columbus and his sailors came ashore, the Arawak people greeted them with food, water, and gifts. Columbus took in mind their body size and their little knowledge of Columbus's world, and he wrote in his log, they would make fine servants. These people showed him kindness, and all he could think of was enslaving them. He was quickly overcome by greed and began his search for riches. He wrote, as soon as I arrived in the Indies, on the first island which I found, I took some of the natives by force, in order that they learn and might give me information of whatever there is in these parts. He took them as prisoners aboard his ship, and insisted they guide him to where the gold was. He went to Hispaniola, the island of today's Dominican Republic and Haiti. He built the first European military base in the Western Hemisphere. He called it Fort Navidad. According to Howard Zinn, he left 39 crew members there with instructions to find and store gold. He continued his expedition around the islands, taking more natives captive with the goal for riches and slaves. When he returned to Fort Navidad, he found all of his crew members killed in a battle with the natives because the crew members had roamed the island in gangs, taking women and children as slaves for sex and labor. After that, Columbus sent out expedition after expedition, but they found no gold fields. They had to fill the ships returning to Spain somehow. So in 1495, they insisted on a huge slavery. They rounded up 1,500 men, women, and children and put them in pens. He caged them and dehumanized them like animals, all to make himself more wealthy and powerful. The main source of information about what happened on the islands with Columbus comes from Las Casas. Las Casas, in Book 2 of his History of the Indies, wrote about the treatment of the natives by the Spaniards. I quote, "Our work was to exasperate, ravage, kill, mangle, and destroy." He wrote about Columbus. He was so anxious to please the king that he committed irreparable crimes against the natives. Columbus and his men were the reason for millions of native deaths. It goes farther than the diseases that we were taught about in school. He killed and raped and enslaved people, all for greed. Do you still think he deserves his own holiday? Thanks for watching my TED Talk. See you next time.